asking, what does spirit, your higher self, what do you need to know? What are they trying to tell you? They're trying to reach you. I'm getting like a visual of like aliens and trying to contact humanity. So we already lit our sage, we got our candle going, I have cards shuffled. I do shuffle on camera, so you will see that. But I wanted to pull an oracle first to start off with. This is the Magical Spirit Oracle. This is a beautiful deck. I don't know if you are a tarot reader yourself or if you're into tarot, but this is one that you maybe want to try. This one always gives me guidance in time of need. So those of you who are drawn to this particular reading, it isn't an accident. Okay, everything happens in the way that it's supposed to. All the components, all the components of the wheel. I'm picturing like a clock that is, all the little tiny gadgets and gizmos and pieces that go in a clock, the old school clocks. There's so many, I keep hearing like gadgets and gizmos. I'm wanting to say mechanical mechanisms, right, that are able to fit together in order to have a cohesive piece that actually allows the clock to move, right? Welcome, by the way. My channel is a journey through tarot. I have been off and on reading tarot since 2020. I believe 2019, maybe I started this page. I'm feeling inclined to get back into it. So if this resonates for you, maybe you are on your spiritual journey and you're wanting to share your talent or your ability with the collective. Okay, let's get an oracle card. Let's see what spirit, ancient ancestors. Ooh, that one flew out. Speaking of little space buns, how cute. I got got my space buns today. The goddess of the sea. So automatically I'm getting that your sun sign could potentially be a water sign. Or maybe there's a particular person that you're curious about or speaking into a manifestation or into reality. Growing pains, healing, patience, unconscious. So I'm going to go ahead and read directly from the book here. So if that's not really what you're into and you want to read just intuitively, I'm getting third eye on both of these cards. The third eye here on her, as well as this card here. So if your intuition is telling you, you already know what these cards represent. You don't have to listen to me read from the guidebook, but it always sounds really, the way that they word it, obviously, they're the one who created it, right? I'm feeling myself rambling, so I don't know if you're a talker or not, or if that's something that you do when you're nervous or, things like that. I'm getting that energy. When I read for a collective, I'm receiving your energy. I'm feeling how you feel. But this does say abundance, purification. You might be going through like a transformational period in your life. I do think that the collective is going through major transformations. We have growing pains here, healing, patience, unconscious. In the card, in her hair, it says it's a process. All right. 19 might be significant for someone. Also, 19 represents the sun card in tarot. So what I'm hearing is you're going to reach that paradise, that ultimate fulfillment, that happiness that sun represents. Also, it is summertime. Maybe you're spending a lot of time outdoors, going to the pool, going to the beach. I mean, goddess of the sea here. You may love water, or maybe you're drawn to the water. If you're a collective who enjoys sitting near the water and just being at peace and enjoying watching the waves crash. And then I do have Reiki on right now, if you can hear it. And it's got rain falling. So, rainfall could be significant maybe where you live. You might be a horror fan. A horror. That word is really weird to say. Horror. HORROR. You might be into like scary movies. The reason why I say that is this little tiny little guy on the boat, right? It's reminding me of the movie It. I know that's super random, but it's reminding me of that. And then we were talking about the rainfall. So, anyways, that could be for someone. Okay, so number 19, and then also number 34 could be a significant number. I could even show you guys on here. Okay, abundance, purification, ego, treasures. This is your affirmation. I am coming home to where my soul calls me. That could be the ocean, that could be water. Maybe you moved away from your hometown, or maybe you've always been drawn to move somewhere else, maybe closer to the ocean, the beach, something like that. The fisherman has been on a long and challenging journey. He has been casting his net for fish, but the fish do not come. His soul is starving and he longs for more. Suddenly he sees a shining light in the distance, a soft purple glow that he decides to follow. He is led to the goddess of the sea, her ruling element being the forces and symbology of water. Her purpose is to help us remember where the real treasures are. She can show you what it is that you need, not just what you want. And if you are willing to know, she can show you what is soul versus ego. She takes you beyond your false needs and false self. She shows you a world of true spiritual abundance. The fisherman symbolizes the ego and its endless desires and hunger for more, yet he's searching in the wrong places and it's never enough. Okay, so what I'm getting the visual of, if you've ever seen the movie, the Disney movie, The Princess and the Frog, Tiana and the prince are on this journey of becoming human again. But the shaman, the little voodoo woman, she's basically a spiritual guidance to them, right? She is telling them to dig a little bit deeper. He wants to be rich, but he's not realizing that there's so much more in the world than money. And she wants this restaurant. She's willing to avoid her friends, avoid family, avoid everyone. She's working so hard, she doesn't get to enjoy her life. So they're both learning that there's more to life than just money or material things, right? So that may be significant. You might be a Disney fan as well. But that was the vision I was seeing. He plunders the sea and gets lost in its vast expanses. After all his searching for more, he has never felt less, small, insignificant, empty, even though an abundant sea lies beneath him and all around him. Yeah, that's that ego of thinking you need more, thinking you need more money, you'll be fulfilled, or you get this particular job and you'll be fulfilled. We realize sometimes that we're missing the point of life. Life isn't just about material. Life is about enjoying life, right? This can be painful as we all have our vices. She is powerful and represents the endless abundance of water, its purification power, and the cleansing it can bring. Okay, so if you're getting this, if you're resonating, right, there might be some form of transformation, as well as there might be some clarification or cleansing that is needed. I'm hearing be around water, even if it means taking a bath and, visualizing all of the doubt going down the drain, all of the worry, all of the stress just going right down the drain as soon as you pull the plug, right? I need to take a drink of my coffee. You might be a caffeine person like me. My mouth got really dry during this reading. Spirit is saying hydrate. That could be another significant thing, like just drinking water. I'm really bad at drinking water. I usually like to drink like coconut water or like something a little bit sweeter. I have trouble with water. So I'm trying to hydrate more as well myself. I'm thinking like maybe I need a water additive or something. Anyways, this is saying reflect on the fish you used to cast your net for. So what were you striving toward that was actually collapsing your happiness? Are you stuck in a dead end job? Are you stuck in an unfulfilled relationship? Appreciate the times you have chosen to come home instead. Again, there is this like soul tie to home. So I don't know, maybe you could be like a college student. You could have moved from your hometown. Um, if this is someone specifically asking if they should move back home, I'm hearing a yes. Spirit is saying yes. So if you're here, you're watching this, that is a yes. Acknowledge the false ego desires you no longer seek or catch. Reflect on anything now that feels misaligned for you or anything that doesn't seem to shine like it used to. I'm also getting this like void. Mental health is important. We should talk more on the topic. There's no shame when I speak of like depression, anxiety, any of those things. When I speak on those things, I'm not shaming anyone. I also struggle with mental health. We all do. No one who is a human, or especially a spiritual human, has been through life without feeling some sort of downs and ups, right? um, I was getting this like dark void. This when it almost talked about the numbness of things don't seem to shine anymore. I was getting kind of a depressive energy. It doesn't mean you have to be in a depressive episode, but you could be feeling, lack of enjoyment in the things that you once enjoyed. Home, right? Home brings back memories of childhood, and like maybe there's something you really used to enjoy, like art, or there's a specific person here who might have went down a path for the money. I'm getting like someone who chose a career path that involved, making good money. And you're proud of yourself in the aspect that you're able to provide, but then there's a part of you, the childhood you, who wants to play with art, finger paint, play with crayons and do the things that you once loved, pretend to be a superhero, and whatever your inner child is like reaching for, because I'm getting that home energy of like nostalgia, and like you're missing out on something. It could be even a childhood friend, or someone you've known since childhood. It could be a friendship that turned into a relationship, or you wish that it did. It was 1313 on the clock when I saw that, so that could be significant. If you look up spiritual number 1313, that could be significant for someone. You are at the point of your life where things are going away so that new things can come. Right? Careful what you wish for. Again, that Princess and the Frog. The song with the voodoo guy, the tarot guy, he says, you got what you wanted, but you lost what you had. So you could be seeking something more and losing a part of you because you're seeking that, right? Again, with the job thing, you chose a job that's giving you the money you want, but then you're losing this part of you that's creative. So, growing pains, number 19. We talked about the sun and how that matches that card. The number 19 represents the card in tarot, the sun. Your affirmation is, I trust in the process of healing. Healing patience, unconscious, and self-awareness. To let go of something and it was very painful, or I'm in the process of letting something go, like materialism. And it's not an easy thing to let go. We talked about vices in that last card. The healer, the garden that tends itself, the therapist. You seek to be an awakened one in your family. This isn't always easy, as it involves taking on a larger responsibility and role in your lineage. You're seeking something more fulfilling, truthful, and of the heart. This requires patience with your psyche. and security within your soul. By living intentionally, I love that word, being intentional. Being intentional with your time rather than using it to, this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing someone who is who fulfills their time with doing things, feeling as though they're only, it's almost as if you need validation for doing things in order to feel fulfilled. You might have been in a childhood or you were raised by people who wanted you to be productive, which would make you feel worthy only if you were productive, only if you were doing something for them. There may have been someone in your life, it could even be a relationship romantically, where you felt like you had to do things in order to be lovable. And this could also be an attachment style of anxious attachment, where you feel like you have to do things to be deserving of love. By living intentionally and choosing to be conscious of the choices you make, you are activating transformation on a DNA level. This can be felt at a collective consciousness level as well. This is powerful work. Your ancestors are so proud to have passed the torch down to you. Okay, so what I was getting right when I read the DNA level, I kept thinking ancestral trauma, ancestral cycles that need to be broken. You are altering your very DNA for the next of kin, for your children, right? So 440 on the clock, 444 could be, of significant. But what I'm getting from that is that you were always maybe the black sheep of the family. Like you felt different than others. Like you felt like everyone else isn't awakened. I'm getting, I keep getting these personal, stories of my journey where, my family is always surface level. I always try to get deeper. I always try to talk to them and talk about deeper things, and they never want to go there. And so I'm kind of getting that representation of you where you're just wanting to dig deeper and learn things on a soul level. It's more than just for instance, let's say if you're religious or if you practice religion as a child, and then you're but why are we not actually living the words? It's you read the Bible and you read Jesus loves, and then you saw your family or someone in particular judging, and you're but Jesus wouldn't do that. Why are we not living his teachings? It almost feels like you second guessed a lot of things. If you were religious, you were constantly asking questions that they just didn't answer. Because I've noticed with religion, and let's just say, I'm nothing against it. I think, it's a staple of people's lives and it helps heal. And that's the same as my spiritual journey. I'm very obviously into spiritual aspects, and that's just my journey. But what I'm trying to say is you don't like the structure of religious practices potentially, because anytime they want you to be on the same exact level, it's almost I'm getting sheep behavior, sheep mentality, where everyone has to think the exact same. I feel like you were different and unique, and you just didn't resonate with that. You're why would we all think the same? That's not what life is. Life is about learning and exploring and interpreting, and every path is different. So I think you would ask questions maybe that maybe your parents didn't want to go down that path, because then it would kind of second guess their belief systems. But you were seeking knowledge. I feel like you might be one of those people who takes bits and pieces of every religion and kind of warps it into your like belief system and okay, well, like I believe in, multiple lives, but then I also believe in the higher power, God. It's like you don't have a one-track mind. You think differently. You have a unique belief system, which I think is beautiful. And I'm the same way. I feel like I like to have friends who are different than me, people around me who don't think the same that I do, that might have a different opinion, because then it helps me grow and learn, right? If everyone was the same, we wouldn't grow and learn. Speaking of growing and learning, I mean, this is the growing pain card. Pulling this card invites you to employ more patience with yourself on your healing journey. You're unlearning and undoing generations of toxic patterns and beliefs. Exactly. This will naturally be challenging, uncomfortable, and even painful. This is why they are called growing pains. They are a necessary part of healing. You may have even had an existential crisis. You might have been a very religious person. And then, when you started asking questions and learning and diving deeper into it, you realized, who is God? What is God? Like, why would he do these things? And like, I feel like you might have went through an existential crisis where you almost didn't believe for a minute in a higher power, but then I think you have found your own spiritual path, and it would have been really painful to go through something like that, especially when your family believes a certain way and you're going against the grain and you don't necessarily agree with how they feel. This card also wants to remind you that you were chosen for this path, that your soul chose this mission of healing for you. This is your initiation. I'm getting that you were alone a lot. You feel lonely quite a bit. Or that you at least have learned to enjoy your alone time, because you always kind of felt alone even when you were around people. Your mission. This is what walking through the fire looks like so that you may reach peaceful, abundant valley. Be proud of yourself and continue to do your best as you find your way. Celebrate small victories, like when you set boundaries or are less reactive, or break a toxic trait, or don't repeat the poison of the past. This is the work. You have accepted your mission, whether you realize it or not. That's beautiful. Again, this is how we manifest and help ourselves through this time, right? The advice here is to give yourself a moment to journal. Write out the ways in which you've already healed. Give yourself the recognition you deserve. Love yourself for all the times you chose to do better. Even when nobody was watching, again, you're still doing the work, even when you're alone, right? Even when no one even is validating you, you're still doing the work for yourself. And that is true healing right there. Even when your family or friends don't see all that you have overcome, instead see yourself as you are a chosen healer. You and I are in the same collective. This is why you were drawn to me, because I feel very strongly. I'm on the same aspect. I'm alone quite a bit. I've always been that way my whole childhood, and I'm learning to love myself. I'm guiding myself. I'm trying to, guide others as well. And it's been a process of trying to put myself out there, like on YouTube, on TikTok, those types of things. Also, colored hair might be significant. We have this blue and this like bright red hair here. Green eyes could be significant just because she has green eyes. But this is a lot about intuition. I'm seeing this purple color here. Your intuition is heightened at this time.